Shania Twain. Thank you. Welcome.
Wow, you got an exciting group of people?
Yeah, they all come to see me, but they were happy to know. Not really. No, they're all here to see you. Thanks for coming today. How's things?
Oh, great, great. Yeah.
You, this is an interesting place for you to be because to get out there and talk about a record, a tour, whatever is one thing, but to get out here and talk about a book as well, where you really laid it out, a lot of really personal information in there.
Yeah.
How has that process been for you?
Well, I'll tell you the difference between doing this and promoting music or anything professional. This is not about entertainment. It's about, I'm an entertainer sharing my life. And it's not really, it's totally out of my comfort zone. It's not something I do while I'm an entertainer, if you know what I'm saying. It's,
Sure.
it's almost
like you need clear
like
lines.
two separate lives, yeah.
Yeah, because there was no, in your story, there was almost no middle ground. It was, you'd done a really good job of being separate. It's to a point where you were almost, it appeared reclusive.
Well, and it was too reclusive. You know, the problem for me, I think, other than the fact that my life has just been very dynamic and dramatic and traumatic in a lot of ways, or extreme maybe is the word that sums it all up. But I have had to isolate myself, from very young childhood, just having a difficult childhood.
Well, when people read your book, you're going to find out just how difficult it was in certain points.
Yeah.
You talk about your family, you talk about your father. It's an abusive situation. It's difficult. And you said you didn't know it was the norm. When did you realize that something was wrong in your family?
Because it started so young. I think really more school brought it to my attention because I had to start lying at school. And, answering why I didn't have a winter coat, why I didn't have a lunch, and I would make up excuses. And then, you just get very, very good at hiding things. When I was younger, I'm not so sure I really understood. I was more confused than anything. And I think it was more when I started going to school that I really understood there was something, almost, I felt a responsibility to keep it quiet and to myself. And then you learn this as a habit. You get very skilled at this. And I took this all the way through my life to now. And it's very dangerous to do. It's manifested, in me through my voice. I've got a real problem with that. I have a problem getting volume out. I really have to work at it. I've got a long road of therapy ahead of me as far as, rehabilitation.
Yeah, you have a condition in your voice, right? Dysphonia.
Condition. Yeah, dysphonia, which develops very much because of that. Just learning to, there's various reasons. Boxers get dysphonia, for example. It's a damage that you do to the muscles around the larynx.
Being a singer's pretty tough, so maybe it's like a boxer, right?
Well, I can tell you, it doesn't work very well when you're a singer. To have your voice box squeezed by the muscles. And this just transcended all the way through my life, and I've just learned to keep everything to myself.
Wait, this is something that, like, lots of people go through a relationship with the parents where it can be abusive or it's just difficult or whatever it would be, but what ends up happening is if the universe smiles on you for a minute, you, at some point as your parents get older, you get a chance to have some kind of redemption moment with them, not necessarily reconciliation, but as you become an adult, you get to be with them. But your parents died when you were young, so you never got a shot at that redemption moment in any way. Do you ever think about that and how you would be to them if they were still around?
I think about that all the time. I was very, it was difficult for me to make the decision to share my story with the world. Of course, I would have documented it for the sake of my son. I always think of my parents and think of how, we never got that opportunity to sit down and talk about life, about our, my childhood and our relationship and whatnot. And all of us. And my dad. It's very difficult. This part of why I'm sharing it, because it is difficult, and it's forcing me out of my comfort zone. But I think there's a lot of people that can relate, whether it is men or women or children, because we had a lot of economic struggle. That was a big stress for my dad. I'm not condoning the behavior, but bad things happen to good people, and that's pretty much what happened to my parents in a lot of these situations.
Well, tell me about the decision to. Obviously, we know about the breakup and the demise of your relationship, but the decision to post a letter that you wrote to the other woman.
Yeah.
Who not just the other woman, but the other woman who was your friend.
Right, my betrayer.
Your betrayer, yes.
My backstabber, I guess, if you will. But
Both words are accurate, yeah. It's funny, of the two B words she could have picked, she picked other ones. But that's a really interesting, because that's a hurt human being that
it
writes
is.
that.
And I wanted to share that because if writing this down and sharing it with everybody is going to have a true benefit. I can't just give advice and skim across and say, well, I understand you, I've been through a few things myself. I think you have to give testimony and explain why you understand someone. Right. And then they'll truly benefit. They'll listen, they'll have a reason to listen and believe you. And then they will benefit from that. They will say, wow, I'm really not alone. I might be afraid to speak out myself, but at least I know somebody else understands me, and it's someone that has a lot to risk. It's a big risk stepping out when you've got, a platform to stand on where, with a microscope looking at you.
It's also a big risk because you're telling people that, hey, here I was in this seemingly idyllic relationship. We had the great deal, we had the career, we had all this stuff, and then my friend and my man went, like, you're telling people, and that goes against your core.
Well, the thing is, that particular incident was ironic and was a turning point for me because out of my control was exploited anyway. I mean, it was written about all over the tabloids, right. So it was like, that was humiliating at that moment for me. I'm like, I've spent all these years trying to hide so many things, and all of a sudden, how can this happen? I was very angry about that. I was really, really upset. I was very upset with Marianne for that because she knew how much I'd protected my privacy.
Marianne's the other woman.
The other woman. Yeah. And, I thought she knew me so well. She knows how much I cherish that. And surely she would know that this would eventually come out, and then it would be everywhere.
Right.
And it didn't stop her, obviously, but so I'd already gone through the humiliation of that. So that part's not difficult for me. Everybody already knows that, and I don't talk about the details of the actual affair. That, as much as it might be interesting to people, I thought, well, it's not important. What's important is that I'm sharing the effect
right.
that it had on me. What I've learned from it, hopefully will encourage and inspire other people to, be very careful about choosing their friends, signs, things to look out for, and maybe, how to get through it.
What an incredible position to all of a sudden be in. It must be an interesting set of waters to try to charter for yourself.
It's a rewarding place in my life for me because I've got a platform that I'm enjoying. Mm-hmm. I've worked hard for it, but there's more reward in using it. Of course I'm going to make more music. Of course I'm going to do all of that, but I don't need all of that. Right. I don't need. It's just good. It's just more of what I already have. What's more important to me is to use the platform in a therapeutic sense as well, finding my voice back again through the exchange of giving and receiving, and hopefully, inspiring.
So go 10 years down the road from now when your son will read a book, mm-hmm. and it's not just what you went through as a kid and the thing, but it's his, if you talk about a father now.
Yeah.
If you talk about his dad.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's lots of people who are watching who've gone through breakups who now go, okay, so this similar situation's happened to me.
Yeah.
I got a kid in the picture.
Yeah.
Did any of that come in your mind? I must have before you started writing all this?
It complicates things very much. How do you tell the truth without telling the truth? So by the time Asia is old enough to read this, he will already, unfortunately, have read the tabloids that have come out, whatever his friends might say. Now, that's all things that I had no control over, and that's inevitable, and that's the way it is when you're in the spotlight, and I try to help him through all of that. What I try to do in the book is make sense of it and give a more complete picture about the whole of his dad, and not just that of his dad.
You mentioned music, and I want to come back. We'll talk about music and what her next plan is. More with Shania right after this. We're back here with Shania Twain. Got a book called From This Moment On. What do you do when you know, this is your personal life and your relationship, you know, with your husband and the end of that, but he's so closely tied to your music. So what happens when you have this big, I mean, you two as a team for so long, and now you talk about making music again at some point.
Very scary. All of it's scary. Scary, the scariest time of my life, right here and now. And all the more reason to just to plan, you know, to go forward and move forward. But yes, you know, losing my life partner, you know, losing my music partner and my parenting partner, you know, my daily parenting partner. So all of it happened all at once, of course. Gone. Everything's changed overnight, and now I've got to decide what I'm going to do. Being creative and expressing myself through writing was the best thing for me. And that's how the book was born. That was how the series was born. And new music just came with that. So it all started to flow.
Was any of this revenge?
No, I don't believe in revenge. I don't believe in revenge.
Well, they say those who don't believe in revenge, their enemies do.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
No, you know what? I don't believe in revenge. I really do, in the deepest part of me, you know, just want to understand. I just want to make sense of things. I just want to make sense of life and purpose and what am I here for and what, you know, why is this person in my life and why am I, you know, I'm always looking for answers. I'm a seeker. I'll be forever searching because I'll never find the answers. But, you know, I think that I would rather spend my time looking for them than settling on revenge.
Yeah, what about music? So talk to me. So what's the therapy process to get your voice back? And can you bring it back?
I can bring it back. Apparently, they tell me I can. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to sing again. So the series was fantastic. I really did get to the bottom of it. It's going to take physiotherapy, literally opening up the muscles. It's going to take speech therapy. And it's going to take just relaxing, enjoying, laughing. It's a process. It's going to be a fairly long recovery there in that aspect.
Do you have confidence in it? Because, you know, there's that moment, you know, when a pitcher loses their arm for a minute, it's like, oh, I have to come back. Do you feel like that?
No, I feel the same. I feel like an athlete because it's a physical thing. Yeah, so psychologically, the psychological aspect is the very last aspect. Once everything's physiologically back to where it should be, and the doctor signs off and says, you know, there's no reason why you can't just get it all out, I then have to believe that I can get it out and believe that I can, like you said, I can hit the ball or kick the ball with confidence. And that's, I don't know how that happens. I guess just getting out and doing it.
Is it kind of liberating in a sense as a performer? If it's almost like the universe said you're not going to sing for a while, and for you there's no pressure now. Just you get to be a mother and a person.
I know. You know, it's more important to express myself even this way, to be honest, and whatever happens vocally. I've already had such a wonderful career. Honestly, I'm thankful for that. Even if I didn't sing again, I would be okay with that. But I would be sad in my own shower to not hear, you know, even if it was that's where I would be sad. It's not
What's
so much
the
about the
worst
career.
song you sing in the shower? The worst one.
Oh, I'm not. Are you trying to get me to sing? No.
No, I didn't just say it.
Come on, Shania.
Yeah.
No. No, I don't know.
Without irony, I sing Phil Collins all the time in the shower. Without irony. So if you got the one where you singing, you're like, what am I doing? I can't believe I said that.
I don't know. I make all kinds of awful sounds in the shower.
The book is called From This Moment On. Shania Twain, everybody. Good to see you. Strombo.com's website. We'll see you next time.